What's up, Packers fans? Aaron Nagler here, and I'm joined by a very special guest who needs no introduction, but I will give him one anyway. From a walk-on at Kansas State to a second-round pick, an eventual Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers, Jordy Nelson appeared in 136 games for the Packers with 88 starts over 9 seasons, finishing fourth in team history in receptions and third in touchdown catches. More importantly, he's a Packers Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl champion. Jordy Nelson, thanks for joining me from, I got to say, it looks like and sounds like the tractor on the farm.
It's close. We're in a combine. It's wheat harvest time, so we're busy trying to get it knocked out. There's some possible rain coming Thursday, Friday, so hopefully we can get all ours knocked out, and then it can rain and grow the corn and soybeans.
I absolutely love it. But I got to admit, like, this is exactly what I pictured when, word came out a couple years ago that you were retiring. If you had told me, okay, here's a video of the future, and it was this, exactly what you're doing right now, this is exactly how I picture Jordy Nelson in retirement. How is retirement treating you? And, have you been able to kind of kick back and relax and enjoy time with your family?
Retirement's been great. I think we're pushing over 5 years now. I think this might be the sixth season out coming up this fall. So it's been great. Obviously, a lot of time with the family, coaching the kids and everything that they do, helping brother and dad and father-in-law on the farm, getting to do some vacations and travel a little bit as well. So I kind of get the best of everything. Got a flexible schedule, so kind of get to do whatever I want. But when it's harvest time, it's time to get in the combine and get after it.
Get after it, you do, no doubt about it. And speaking of, yes, you're right, 5 years, right? Which means you are, if in case anyone has been living under a rock, one of the 9 first-year eligible players to be nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024. That list of nominees, which is like I think all the modern guys are at 173, gets whittled down to 25 in November. Do you think about that at all? I mean, that's a long way to wait as far as like from the summer till November to even find out if you're in the final 25. Do you think about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or is that just something that's kind of out of your purview?
I don't think about it. I don't think I have really much of a chance to get in there, so it's not
Oh, stop.
my breath on. So I think when that list came out, that was exciting to see it, and even just, I mean, to be able to have your name on a list of Pro Football Hall of Fame possibilities was something I don't think I ever had in my viewpoint when I was playing football or even leaving Kansas State and trying to see what happens in the NFL. So any of that stuff is cool and crazy, all at the same time. But yeah, I won't be holding my breath very long.
Well, speaking of cool and crazy, you are headed to Brazil with a group called Sports Fans Travel. And I got to admit, I think we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. When I think Jordy Nelson in retirement, I think of exactly what you're doing right now, on the farm, working, living your life. And now it appears you're headed to Brazil with a group of Packers fans. And I guess it sounds like you guys still have a few spots left open as far as travel packages go. Can you tell people what you're doing with Sports Fan Travel and what this trip to Brazil entails?
Absolutely. So this is a group that kind of sets everything up for Packer fans and all fans. They do these trips, I think, on a regular basis to different venues and whatnot. So they're doing one with the Packer fans. We're going to Brazil. I believe if you get in this package, you'll come down, leave Tuesday, get in Wednesday morning, I believe. We'll go to dinner on different nights. You'll have the day to yourself to kind of do whatever you want. We're starting to look at different things to sightsee and museums and wine tastings and different things that are down there. And then each night, like I said, we'll go to different Brazilian steakhouse, a different restaurant the next night. And then Friday of the game, there'll be a big tailgate party for all of us to get ready, get amped up for the Packers versus Eagles and experience a football game in Brazil. And then I think those that are on the trip actually maybe get to do some more afterwards. But yeah, so it's a good time. I think it's a unique opportunity. I don't think I ever would have went to Brazil, but
right.
Your team is headed down there. It gives you an excuse to make a trip, and then when you can find an organization like these guys that they can set everything up, got your hotel rooms, get your flights all together, transportation to and from, It just makes everything a lot smoother and gives you more confidence. I think when you go and travel internationally, that pretty much everything's taken care of.
Absolutely love it. Well, I'll see you down there because I'm headed to Brazil as well for this game. What are your thoughts on Jordan Love and the current Packers? You've had some time now to step away and watch as things have been turned over from your old friend Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. How have you viewed Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and this new era of Green Bay Packers?
It's been fun to watch. I think it'll continue to be fun to watch the development of these young players that they've gathered over the last, I'll say, handful of years, if you will, and the confidence and then the consistency that they're starting to play with. I think that's where you really can separate yourself as a good player to a great player, is if you're able to do it week in and week out. I've seen it throughout the league when I played, and then since, like, I think everyone can have a 350-yard passing game with 4 touchdowns. Like, everyone can have that flash in the pan. A receiver can go for 150 and 2 touchdowns. But are you able to consistently do it week in and week out and then string it together year in and year out? And I think that's where you start separating yourself. So they got plenty of talent there. They got guys that have been able to be, I would say, slightly consistent. But if it's health reasons, other reasons. But to see if they can do it for 17 games over a whole season and then year to year is, I'm looking forward to see if that progresses into next year.
I'm glad you brought up consistency because that was something I would think is a hallmark of your career. And there was no doubt week in and week out that, you were going to produce. You and Aaron had a very special connection. And since I have you here and I've always wanted to ask this question, how were you able to be so effective in the deep shot play that you and Aaron connected on so many weeks in a row, so many years in a row, despite pretty much every team knowing that was your kind of go-to, right? That was your dagger shot almost. And I understand the idea behind it as far as setting up a corner and then you go to the post. But if it was so easy, Devontae would have been doing it. Like Jeff Janis would have stepped in when you were injured, but no one could. No one ever was able to replicate it. What did you do specifically, what did you do to make that play so effective? Because like I said, Aaron attempted a few of those with other guys, but it was never the same as you and Aaron just hooking up pretty much at will with that deep shot play.
Honestly, don't know because I don't think it's that difficult, to be honest with you. So, we've talked over the last few years about different things, and he brings this up or sends me a random text that I need you to come back to Green Bay and show them how to do it. I need you to come to New York and show them how to do it because people have rotated through for whatever reason they haven't been able to capitalize it on it the same. I think one part, while it worked, especially early in my career when I started playing more and more, was it was out of a 1 receiver set. So it's a heavy run action. So by being in there in those heavy run actions and actually blocking all the time, and then when we went play action, it was something that was against our tendency, I guess. The safeties had to respect it, that you were going to come down and block, or that their eyes would get in the backfield just for that little second. So I think not only the consistency of it, like I tried to play every play. Like I never came out if it was a run play, I stayed in. If it was a pass play, I stayed in. Like I wanted to play as many plays as possible. Now, if we had a deep shot and we didn't connect, it was easier to step off the sideline just for even time management purposes. Another person step in, I'd jog back, then I'd be right back in the next play. So I think some receivers go in and out so much that it's hard for them to set up something. So if they're able to stay in and block and block and block, and then all of a sudden you can run the same look, the same formation, and all of a sudden you slip by the safety instead of blocking them, it just gives them that extra dynamic to it, and it keeps the safeties on their heels a little bit more, and they don't know really truly what to expect.
That is outstanding. And that's something I never would have thought of as far as continuously being on the field and setting it up, but that makes a world of sense. I'm talking to Jordy Nelson, Packers Hall of Famer, and your tour guide in Brazil with Sports Fans Travel if you choose to go down and hang out and watch the Packers. Jordy, I really appreciate the time. I only have one more question for you. You were the first Green Bay Packers player to ever win the AP's Comeback Player of the Year. And I know at your induction into the Packers Hall of Fame, you had Nate Weir, I believe, as your inductor, so to speak. Can you just describe what the importance was of both Nate and Flea and their work? Because I know those guys do incredible kind of amounts of work with every Packers player who's been through there for years, right? And I do think there's probably a subset of Packers fans who appreciate what they do, but I know by and large they go under the radar. And I just, any chance I get, I'd love to, put a little shine on them, because you talked about it in your, induction. And I think there have been a few other guys who've talked about what they do and how important it is. But how important were they in that process of getting you back on the field when you did win Comeback Player of the Year?
Extremely important. I think the moment I tore my ACL, I've always said I gave myself a day to pout about it, and then we changed our mindset. I think the next day when I came into the facility, we laid out a game plan with Doc McKenzie, with Flea, with Nate, with Adam, who was our nutritionist, and even with all the guys in the weight room. Like, what is the plan? What is our goal? What is the expectations from everyone? Myself, all of them on staff, of what we were going to accomplish this next year. Because immediately, obviously, you knew we were out for the year. So my mindset of what my goal was for that year, what my job was for that year, changed. It was to rehab and get healthy for the following year. It wasn't, to be honest with you, I told them I'm not going to go to meetings. Like, a lot of times they still want the injured guys to go to meetings. I'm like, well, it's pointless for me to go to meetings. It's better for me to stay in here and grind away in the rehab. And when my rehab's done, I'll go to meetings. When my rehab's done, I'll go to practice. When I'm mobile enough, I'll get to practice as soon as possible, and I'll start traveling with the team so I can be on the sideline and help out as much as possible. But there's just a couple things that all of us kind of committed to, and one was be there every day. So many guys across the league want to go off and get a surgery done by some big name surgeon. Wants to go off and do rehab in some big name facility, but then they go spend a month there, then they leave and go a month here, then they come back to Green Bay for a month, and they go a month somewhere else. And again, same word, there's no consistency in what's going on. So I told him, I said, I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. Doc's doing my surgery, and we'll attack it no different than we would a game plan for a football, like a season. So we developed through it. Nate did and Flea did an excellent job of challenging me. I challenged them as well. Like, as I progressed, I wanted to progress. I wanted to move on to the next thing. I didn't want to continue to do the same thing over and over, because my body was ready to move on. Doing range on your knees, so that's when you lay on your stomach and they try to take your heel and push it to your butt so you get full range back. It's very brutal for the first 2 weeks. But I told Nate we were going to measure it every day, and we were going to somehow get at least 1 degree closer to my butt every single time. He goes, we don't measure every day. It can be bad mentally. I said, we're measuring every day, because if I don't force it, like, it's because it hurts. It's like the front of your knee is going to split back open. But I knew if I didn't force it, then you could settle for, okay, maybe today's not the day. Well, then tomorrow won't be the day. Like, so it was a long process, but we challenged ourselves all across the board. And then when the season came, I kept it simple. My goal for the season was not to miss a practice. I wanted to practice all year long, and that allowed me to be ready to play in the games. And then the games on Sundays took care of themselves. I was not worried about how I was going to perform that year, just because I was focused so much on my rehab and recovery. Even once I came back, the amount of time I spent in recovery, just to make sure I was ready for the next practice, for the next game. I wasn't worried about losing a step that everyone was talking about, because that was not up to me. What was up to me was how I was going to work and rehab and recover throughout the rehab process, and then recover week in and week out. And then I let Sundays handle themselves, and which they did. So I was obviously very excited to win the award, not only for myself and my family, because my wife had a big role in this. We had ice machine going throughout the night, and I'd wake her up at 2 a.m. and tell her I needed more ice in the ice machine. So she would wake up, and I'd ice it all night long, and it helped with the recovery and the soreness. But to win it, and like I said, shine a light on Nate and Flea and everyone in the building, and because I feel like they're one of those that kind of like a long snapper, you don't ever hear about them until something bad happens.
Right, exactly.
All over them. So yeah, it was fun in that way to take them. I even took Nate and Flea with me down to the awards ceremony so they could have an experience as well.
Well, Jordy, I can't tell you, I'm just absolutely thrilled to be able to talk to you in any way, shape, or form. I've been a huge fan. I am a huge fan. I appreciate everything you did for the green and gold. And I'm telling you, you talk about you don't have a chance, man. You have a chance to the Hall of Fame. And if there's one thing Cheesehead TV has proven, we will be the squeaky wheel about your candidacy for the next however many decades it takes, man. We're still working on Sterling Sharp. We're going to get you in there too, man. It's going to happen because you are more than deserving. I cannot thank you enough for the time, Jordy. Thank you so much, man.
Well, I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun over the years playing, and enjoy going back to Green Bay and seeing the Packer fans. So if anyone's out there and needs an excuse to go to Brazil, get on there. I know Aaron said he'll post the link. So I think there's a few more openings. Like I said, sometimes you just need an excuse, jump on board, and we'll have a great time.
Absolutely. Get it all taken care of for you and have Jordy Nelson guide you and hang out with Jordy. Have a great time. Like I said, the link is in the description of this video. Jordy, thank you so much, man. Have a great day.
I appreciate it. Thank you.